So this is about movement. So stuff's got to move between cells or within a cell, and there are three ways it can happen. But to understand any of them, you firstly have to understand this concept of concentration. So we'll quickly go through that. So you can see on the screen it says concentration is a measure of how crowded the particles are. A high concentration will have more particles in a given volume. So just to give you a quick example, we've got 2 glasses of water. They're the same volume, it's the same amount in there, but the one on the left has how many? 5 particles, and the one on the right in the same volume has closer to 20. So the one on the left is at a low concentration, the one on the right is in a high concentration. If you understand that, the next 2 minutes or whatever will be pretty straightforward for you. Let's have a look at contestant number 1, which is diffusion. I just learned how to do these transitions and I'm overusing them, but I'm enjoying it, so get over that. Diffusion is the movement of particles from a high to low concentration, and it's passive, which means it doesn't need any energy, it will just happen. So let's have a look. The green particles are in a high concentration in that bottom left and a low concentration in that the top right. So because of diffusion, they'll move from a high to low concentration. They'll move from where there's lots to where there's less, and it will become evenly spread out like that. The next one is osmosis. This is basically diffusion, but with a couple of changes. That it's water and it happens through something called a partially permeable membrane. So let's have a look first of all at this thing called water. I've been doing some research. So it's transparent, you can drink it, you could swim in it, apparently you can wash in it, and it's made up of tiny little molecules compared to something like a sugar, which is much bigger. Now a partially permeable membrane is kind of like a gate. So to take this lady here, she's absolutely over the moon that she could walk through that gate, get in and out all day long. Where this Soviet era tank, it can't fit. And partially permeable membranes, that's pretty much what they do. So there's our water, there's our sugar, and that dashed line in the middle represents our partially permeable membrane. Because there's a high concentration of water on the left, it's going to move from high to low through that membrane. So the water molecules, you can see them there, they move from high to low into the right hand side, and now it's evenly spread out. So the movement of water from high to low concentration of water through a partially permeable membrane. Last one, active transport, is pretty much the exact opposite of the others. It moves from low to high. So it's against what naturally happens, so it needs energy. That's why it's active transport and not, lazy transport, passive transport. Quick example for you, here's the roots of a plant. You can see it's got mineral ions, those purple dots, and it wants those, but they're already in a low concentration outside and a high concentration inside. So to make sure it can get them, it will use active transport to go from a low to high concentration. So quickly here, this top one I can tell is active transport because it's going low to high and needs energy. That middle one's going high to low, but it's not water, there's no membrane, so it's diffusion. And the very bottom one is water, because number 1, I recognise they're water molecules, and number 2, I can see it's got the partially permeable membrane, so therefore that must be osmosis.